Have you ever felt like your mind is your greatest enemy? Not others hurting you, but the thoughts you replay daily, the fears you create, the bursts of anger that lead to actions you later regret. In this chaotic modern world, where your attention is stolen every second, where news, drama, societal expectations, and endless comparisons flood your mind, keeping your inner peace feels nearly impossible. But over 2,000 years ago, a group of people dedicated their lives to confronting this inner turmoil. They didn't run from it. They faced it head on. They understood it. And most importantly, they found a way to master it. They were the followers of Stoicism. Stoics weren't the cold, emotionless people many assume. They were deeply feeling individuals who refused to let emotions steer their lives. They lived through hardship, loss, and injustice, but didn't complain or resent. Because they understood, true peace doesn't come from changing the world, but from changing how you perceive it. Today, you and I will explore the 10 core principles of Stoicism. 10 secrets to not only mastering your mind in the moment, but staying awake and resilient forever. These aren't empty theories, but practical actions. This isn't a philosophy to hang on the wall, but a compass for daily living. And if you find what's coming valuable, don't forget to like the video, share it with a friend in need, and subscribe to the channel to join us on this journey of mastering ourselves. Number 1, guard your attention and reset biases. Your mind is your most precious asset, yet most of us let the world invade it unchecked. Have you noticed? The first thing you reach for each morning isn't your body or inner peace, it's your phone. Within seconds, the world floods in like a tidal wave. Negative news, social media notifications, glitzy images, drama, and endless calls to shop, compare, or argue. It all pours into your mind, sweeping you away before you even realize it. When the Stoics said, "You become what you consistently feed your mind," they weren't joking. They knew attention is the first gateway, and if you don't guard it, everything rushes in, draining you from within. Epictetus once said, "We can't control what happens, but we can control how we respond." But how can you respond wisely when your mind is chaotic from information overload? How can you stay clear-headed if every morning you're bombarded with fear from the media, comparisons on Instagram, or judgments from strangers online? The Stoics understood. To keep your mind strong, you must first protect its inputs. What you let it absorb, believe, and repeat. One of the first Stoic principles is controlling your attention, because attention is the light that shines on what you care about. What you focus on shapes your beliefs. Beliefs over time form your character, and character over time becomes your destiny. So your destiny begins with where you place your attention. What do you choose to focus on? Do you dare to stop scrolling and start thinking? Do you dare to turn away from toxic content, noise, and pointless arguments to return to yourself? Stoics didn't just value focus. They urged you to constantly reset your biases. We all grow up with invisible yardsticks. What success means, what failure looks like, who's admirable, what matters. But have you ever stopped to ask, where did these come from? Are they still true for you today? Are you living by your own values or ones programmed by society? Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, advised, "Be wary of what your mind accepts as true, for most of it is unconscious bias, not fact." He wrote in his journal daily, not to vent, but to remind himself to break free from default thoughts and refresh his mental operating system. You should do the same. Take a few minutes each day to ask, what did I spend my attention on today? Which beliefs are holding me back? Am I seeing life through an outdated lens? Questioning and adjusting your thoughts is true Stoic practice. It needs no stage, no applause, just honesty with yourself. A powerful Stoic technique you can apply is attention fasting, deliberately abstaining from information. Try this. For 1 hour each morning, avoid your phone, social media, and email. Instead, breathe, journal, read, or simply observe your mind. In that silence, you reclaim control. You're no longer a puppet of the outside world. You actively choose what deserves to enter your inner world. Remember, not every thought you have is true. Not every emotion you feel is worth following. And not every piece of information that hits your eyes deserves to be remembered. Stoics lived more slowly, more awake, more selectively, not out of weakness, but because they knew the cost of losing control. You can't build a solid life on a foundation of mental junk. You need clarity, transparency, and intention in every mental choice. If you feel swept away by too much information or stressed by things beyond your control, heed this advice. Start by guarding your attention. Start with the phone in your hand. The next time you're tempted to click on a sensational post, pause and ask, will this nourish or poison my mind? If this principle resonates, try it today. Guard your attention like a Stoic warrior. Let no mental garbage slip through. No false belief linger too long. Leave a comment below. I choose to protect my mind as a pledge. If you feel you're not alone on this journey, like the video, share it with someone who needs this wake-up call, and subscribe to keep walking this path of building inner strength step by step. Number 2, cultivate focus in self-reflection. In a world increasingly distracted by the constant noise of technology, information, and relentless demands, one skill becomes more valuable than anything else: the ability to focus, and not just on work or goals, but on yourself. The Stoics understood that to master your mind, you must first see it clearly. And to see it clearly, you need something the modern world sorely lacks: self-reflection or self-observation. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's busiest emperors, still found time each day to sit and write in his journal. He didn't write for others. He wrote to examine his mind, emotions, and actions. He asked himself, did I live true to my principles today? Did I act impulsively? Did I react emotionally instead of rationally? This wasn't weakness. It was the practice of someone striving to be strong from within. Astonishingly, amidst the chaos of ruling and warfare, he did this daily. He knew that without self-reflection, it's easy to be swept away by instincts, crowds, anger, envy, or trivial things not worth losing peace over. Today, you can do this simply. Take 10 to 15 minutes daily for yourself. No phone, no interruptions, no doing. Just sitting and asking, what did I do well today? Which emotions swayed me? Am I worrying about things beyond my control? These questions need no one but you to answer. But if you answer honestly, they can clarify so much. You'll see many of your worries are meaningless, many actions are automatic, and much of your unease comes from not knowing what you want, where you are, or where you're going. Stoics didn't live by fleeting inspiration. They lived by principles. But to live by principles, you need clear awareness of what you're doing. That awareness doesn't come from doing more, rushing, or staying busy. It comes from moments when you pause, observe, and look within. That's why self-reflection is essential to mastering yourself. It's like checking a map on a long journey. If you don't stop occasionally, you might move fast but in the wrong direction. Focus isn't just about eliminating distractions. It's about choosing what deserves your full presence. Each day you have countless choices: what to do, who to talk to, what to think about, where to place your attention. But your mental energy is finite. Spread it too thin, and you won't have enough to dive deeply into anything. Stoics chose to live deeply, not broadly. They didn't need to know everything happening in the world. They only needed to know what mattered to them and do it well. You can train focus by starting small. Each morning, write down 3 things you want to do that day. Just 3. Commit to doing them with full attention. No multitasking, no half measures. Do them as if pouring your entire life's effort into them. It could be work, study, or simply quality time with family. The task itself doesn't matter. The mindset you bring does. Focus is the mark of someone living awake, not pulled by meaningless things. Another Stoic tool is journaling, not for venting or storytelling, but for digging into your mind and dialoguing with yourself. Try this. Each evening, write a short note about what bothered you most that day. Then ask, why did it upset me? Am I blowing it out of proportion? Could I respond differently? Over time, you'll spot patterns, triggers that make you lose calm or feel uneasy. Once you see them, you can change. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let every action be done as if it were your last." This isn't to panic you, but to urge you to live with focus, awareness, and no delay in changing. Every action mirrors your mind. A lazy, cluttered, or chaotic mind will show in your actions. But a clear, disciplined mind will set your life on the right path. If your mind feels scattered, directionless, or you're simply living without truly being present, try taking 10 minutes daily to turn inward. Not to think, but to observe. Not to blame yourself, but to understand yourself better. This is the first and most crucial step in mastering your inner world. If this section resonates with what you're going through, don't forget to like the video to let me know you're with me. Comment below, "I will make time for myself," as a daily reminder. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe to catch the next parts of this Stoic journey to master your mind. Each lesson is a brick, and each of us is building our own inner temple. Number 3, embrace obstacles and gratitude. No one wishes for hardship. Most of us crave a smooth, easy life without challenges or barriers. Yet the Stoics had a radically different mindset. They didn't just accept adversity, they welcomed it. To them, each obstacle wasn't a push to knock you down, but a mirror reflecting your true character in the moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Obstacles don't block your path, they are the path." This seemingly paradoxical statement holds one of life's greatest truths. Life doesn't happen as you expect. It happens to test you, forge you, transform you. The more you resist reality, the more you suffer. The more you embrace and learn from it, the more you grow. This isn't easy to hear in tough moments. When betrayed, you don't want to hear it's necessary to understand human nature. When facing loss, it's hard to thank life for the experience. But in those moments, you have the chance to practice the truest Stoic principle: gratitude for even the unwanted. Think back. When were you strongest? Was it when you overcame a shock, stood up after failure, persevered through loss? In those times, you weren't the fragile person you once were. You were stronger, sharper, more self-aware. Adversity isn't pleasant, but it's the test you need to become a higher version of yourself. Stoics didn't seek suffering, but when it came, they didn't flee. They faced it and asked, "What can I learn from this?" Epictetus, once a slave, understood this better than most. He didn't choose his fate, but chose how to respond to it. In suffering, he didn't lament or question why he was born into such circumstances. Instead, he focused on what he could control: his thoughts, actions, and values. From the lowest rung of society, he became one of history's most revered philosophers. That's the true Stoic power, not mastering the world, but mastering yourself in any circumstance. Obstacles are lessons, but gratitude is the vehicle to fully absorb them. Stoics practiced gratitude not just for the good, but also for what hurt them. They knew nothing lasts forever, and everything is a chance to grow. Each morning, they reminded themselves today might be their last, so everything, even the bad, was part of the human experience. They didn't thank life for being easy. They thanked it for letting them live, face challenges, act, and improve. You can start with a simple practice. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for, even if they're hardships. For example, if you're rejected for a job, be grateful it helped you see yourself clearer or spared you from an unfit environment. If someone hurts you, try being grateful for being forced to learn to heal, set boundaries, or let go of what isn't yours. When you view life through this lens, it's no longer a series of disasters, but a series of challenges designed to elevate you. Stoics didn't cling to outcomes. They acted fully but didn't depend on things turning out as hoped. They knew much is beyond control: what others think, how society reacts, how the world shifts. The only thing they owned was the quality of their actions. An action done with courage, integrity, and reason is never a failure, regardless of the outcome. When you live by this principle, obstacles stop scaring you. You start welcoming them as part of your inner evolution. If you're in a tough phase, remember, it's not punishment or injustice. It's part of life's forging process. Just as muscles need resistance to grow, your mind needs pressure to become resilient. Stoics didn't seek ease. They sought inner strength. And that strength only emerges when you overcome what seems unbearable. Change how you talk to yourself in adversity. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of complaining, "Life is unfair," affirm, "I'll use this adversity to forge myself." Instead of wishing for ease, wish for the strength to endure. As Marcus Aurelius said, it's not life that exhausts us, it's how we respond to it. If you're reading this and find it meaningful, take a moment to comment below. I'm grateful for adversity. This isn't just symbolic, it's a declaration to yourself that you're ready to shift your perspective, ready to live like a Stoic warrior. If this video helps you understand yourself and life better, don't forget to like, share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and subscribe to continue this journey of inner growth with us. Every step will bring obstacles, but if you learn to navigate them with gratitude, nothing can stop you. Number 4, build the inner citadel. A recurring image in Marcus Aurelius's writings is the inner citadel, not a physical fortress with high walls, deep moats, and guards, but a state of mind where you can retreat when the outside world turns chaotic. Marcus wrote, "Build a fortress in your mind where no one can intrude, where external things, praise, criticism, loss, betrayal, or failure, cannot touch your dignity, calm, or integrity." This is the pinnacle of Stoic philosophy. Living in the world without being swayed by it, standing firm in the storm without losing balance. The inner citadel doesn't appear on its own. It's not born from reading a book or watching an inspiring video. It's built through daily small actions, discipline, controlled responses, and choosing to live by personal values over fleeting emotions. You can't expect a resilient mind if you live carelessly, react impulsively, or let the world define who you are. The inner citadel demands careful selection. What will you let into your mind? How will you respond to injustice? Can you maintain self-respect when no one's watching? These are the moments you lay each brick of your inner fortress. Interestingly, you can't build this citadel in calm times. Only in storms do you discover your true strength. When someone insults you, do you lash out in anger? Or can you stay silent, analyze, and see their words come from their own pain? When you lose a major opportunity, do you collapse? Or can you step back and say, "I'll try again. I still have my dignity, my worth"? These moments are where you forge yourself. Don't fear them. No warrior is forged in peacetime, just as no inner citadel is solid without weathering storms. Building the inner citadel also means detaching from what isn't yours. Stoics teach, focus only on what you can control. Others' attitudes, outcomes, gossip, societal expectations, these are beyond your grasp. If you let them sway your emotions, you're dismantling the very bricks of your citadel. Instead ask, what can I control now? Usually the answer is my response, my self-talk, my choice to uphold dignity even when others act poorly. Discipline is essential to this journey. Stoics didn't wait for inspiration to act. They did what was right, even unseen. They didn't need applause. They needed consistency. Small disciplines lead to great strength. Waking up on time, exercising regularly, journaling daily. These aren't for accolades, but to prove to yourself you can trust yourself. Each kept promise to yourself adds a brick to your citadel. Each broken promise, procrastination, or ignored goal creates a chink, making your fortress vulnerable to life's blows. The inner citadel doesn't mean isolation or coldness. It's not a wall to block connection, but a foundation for healthy connection. When you're strong within, you don't need to flatter others for approval. You don't chase trends to feel worthy. You don't pretend or strain to maintain an image. You can be present, authentic, strong yet compassionate, clear yet humble. That's the beauty of a fortified soul. If your mind feels easily swayed, quick to anger, or hurt by small things, take it as a sign. Don't blame yourself. Start building your citadel today. Each time you refuse to cling to what you can't control, you protect your fortress. Each time you choose silence over pointless arguments, you strengthen its walls. Each time you act rightly without recognition, you prove you don't need the world's approval to be strong. You only need loyalty to your values. The world will keep changing. People will disappoint you. Situations will feel unfair. But you always have a place to return to, your inner citadel. If it's strong enough, no storm can topple you. If you feel ready to build or reinforce your inner citadel, comment below. I'm building my inner citadel. Write it as a declaration to yourself that you're no longer living reactively, but with purpose. If this section helped you understand how to protect and strengthen yourself, like the video, share it with someone needing a mental shield, and subscribe to catch the next steps in this journey to master your mind. Number 5, transform adversity into greatness. No one seeks adversity, but if history and Stoic philosophy agree on one thing, it's this: adversity is the only gateway to greatness. No great person has ever been untested by major challenges. No victory comes without loss, failure, or even profound pain. What makes someone extraordinary isn't avoiding adversity, but transforming it into something greater than themselves. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't flee suffering or seek it for admiration. They walked straight into hardship and, with reason, courage, and inner discipline, turned it into a springboard for growth. This isn't passive endurance. It's actively choosing the hard path to forge mind, will, and character. Epictetus, born a slave, endured what no one would wish for: insults, control, lack of personal freedom, even physical disability. Yet he didn't let his circumstances define him. He didn't see adversity as a reason for hatred or surrender. Instead, he used it to sharpen his wisdom, temper his virtue, and rise from society's lowest rung to a philosopher revered for millennia. What gave him that strength? The Stoic mindset. What happens to us matters less than how we respond to it. You don't know how strong you are until strength is your only option. Adversity reveals your truth. When you lose something dear, do you collapse? Or are you grateful for having had it? When you fail, do you torment yourself? Or do you use the experience to refine your approach and move forward? When someone hurts you, do you retaliate? Or do you forgive and learn? Each response shapes your path. Stoics didn't choose the easy road. They chose the one that made them better, stronger, more resilient. The key difference between those who live awake and those who live instinctively is this: the instinctive seek to avoid pain, while the awake use it as raw material. You can see adversity as a wound or as the fire that forges steel. The same circumstance can break one person and build another. It all depends on attitude, and that attitude is within your control. A vital part of transforming adversity is changing the story you tell yourself. Those who fail often tell themselves, "I'm not good enough. I'm unlucky. The world is against me." Stoics tell a different story. This is a test. I'm here not to complain, but to prove my strength. Instead of asking, "Why me?" they ask, "Why was I chosen to face this challenge?" Instead of playing the victim, they rise as students, ready to learn from every lesson life presents. You can practice this by reflecting on past hardships. Choose a painful moment, a broken relationship, a failure, a betrayal. Ask, what did I learn? If it hadn't happened, would I know myself as I do now? Would I be as resilient, discerning, or appreciative of my worth? This is redefining adversity, a crucial step to making it the foundation for greatness. No one becomes their best self in a comfort zone. Comfort pampers the ego, but starves the soul. When pushed out of ease, you face the truth: who you are, what you truly want, how much you can endure, and whether you have reason to keep going. The hardest moments reveal strengths you didn't know you had. Stoics didn't avoid this. They sought it. They knew that beyond adversity lies a new self, stronger, clearer, more purposeful. Imagine you're an athlete training for life's greatest contest. You can't train only in good weather when healthy or motivated. You train in rain, wind, exhaustion, without cheers. That's how you become unbeatable. Life is the same. Each challenge is a training session. Each loss tests your resilience. If you can turn pain into strength and failure into experience, nothing can stop you from true greatness. If you're in a tough season, see it not as an end, but as the opening chapter of a stronger you. Look in the mirror and say, "I'm not defeated, I'm being forged." Write it down. Repeat it daily. If this video strikes a chord with what you're facing, comment below. I will turn adversity into strength. Like the video to fuel your resolve. Share it with someone struggling in pain who needs a new perspective. And if you haven't, subscribe to join us on this journey of inner transformation, where every challenge holds a hidden opportunity. Number 6, embrace change and adaptation. Nothing in life is permanent. Everything is changing. Your body, your emotions, your relationships, your work, even the beliefs you once held as absolute. Yet paradoxically, we cling to things that are fading. We try to hold on to an old version of ourselves, a memory of the past, a person who once made us feel safe, or an outcome we think we deserve. This clinging, not the change itself, is what causes our suffering. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't fear change. They accepted it as an inevitable part of life. Instead of fighting the current, they learned to swim with it, steadily, consciously, and purposefully. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe a leaf falling in autumn and understand that everything must eventually pass." This isn't just philosophical, it's a practical reminder of life's impermanence. Stoics didn't deny the sadness of loss, but they didn't let it drown them. They didn't cling to the illusion that things stay the same. They accepted life's cycle of birth, growth, decline, and death. This understanding brought them calm when the unwanted arrived. Accepting change doesn't mean passivity or surrender. On the contrary, it demands active engagement. You stop fighting reality and work with it. You adjust your strategy, shift your perspective, redefine your goals. You adapt in action while holding fast to your core values. This adaptability is the highest form of living wisdom. Like water, which flows around obstacles without losing its fluid, resilient nature, Stoics lived flexibly in circumstances but steadfastly in principles. To embrace change, you must first accept that you don't control most of what happens. You can't control others' thoughts, feelings, or decisions. You can't control market shifts, economic ups and downs, or sudden changes in the world. But you can control your response. You can choose how to adapt. You can adjust plans, learn new skills, start over if needed, all without losing dignity, falling into despair, or playing the victim. Change can come from outside. Job loss, a breakup, a pandemic, or an economic crisis. Or it can come from within, losing passion for what once drove you, questioning your path, or outgrowing your old environment. In those moments, you can't keep living as you did. You must adapt, let go of the old to make space for the new, and have the courage to say, "I'm not who I was yesterday." That's when flexibility becomes essential to living true to yourself. Stoics trained for change through a practice called premeditation of evils, imagining daily that they could lose everything: health, reputation, wealth, loved ones. Not to live in fear, but to remind themselves nothing is theirs forever. When you're accustomed to this idea, you don't panic when loss comes. You don't despair when plans collapse. You're prepared, understand the rules, and act proactively, not as a victim. Embracing change isn't just a personal lesson, it's a survival skill in our fast-moving world. Everything is shifting faster than ever. Technology, social values, work, relationships, learning. Those who don't adapt get left behind. But adapting doesn't mean losing yourself. Stoics kept their inner core intact while adjusting outwardly, holding on to character, values, and integrity amid change. If you're in a transition, feeling lost, no longer fitting in your old world but unsure where to go, see it as an invitation. Don't panic or rush to find new safety. Slow down, observe, listen to yourself. Ask, what is this change opening up? What must I let go to move forward? What core values will I keep? When you navigate change with clarity and purpose, you don't just survive, you grow profoundly. To train for acceptance and adaptation, start small. When a plan falls apart, smile and say, "This is my chance to be more flexible." When someone treats you differently, remind yourself, "I can't control them, but I can choose a mature response." When emotions shift, observe them without being swept away. You're building mental flexibility, the key to standing firm in any circumstance. If you're learning to let go of the old and embrace the new, comment below, "I choose to adapt, not cling." It's not just words, it's a commitment to live with wisdom and courage. If this video helps you reflect, like it to spread this message. Share it with a friend facing a crisis, and subscribe to join us on this journey of building resilience, where you don't just survive life's changes, but thrive through them. Number 7, manifest success. Through belief, success doesn't begin with action. It begins with belief. Belief isn't vague or delusional. It's the invisible foundation shaping your decisions, actions, and outcomes. The Stoics, often seen as calm, rational, and self-disciplined, were not lacking in belief. On the contrary, belief was the solid mental fuel that kept them steadfast, helped them overcome challenges, and drove them to pursue their chosen path to the end. However, Stoic belief isn't blind faith or wishful thinking. It's an active belief, grounded in daily, purposeful action and inner discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have a strength within you greater than anything the outside world can bring down." This isn't mere comfort, it's a conviction that true success stems from believing you're worthy of it and capable of achieving it. No one starts a great journey without envisioning something better. Belief doesn't just pave the way, it keeps you on it when things get tough. When you believe your journey matters, you keep walking, even when your feet are weary. When you believe challenges are part of growth, you don't panic at obstacles. And when you believe you're building a better version of yourself, you find reason to push past temptations, procrastination, and others' doubts. Stoic belief isn't based on things you can't control. They didn't encourage believing the world will favor you or that fate will hand you what you want. They taught belief in yourself, your ability to act, to choose the right attitude, to master yourself no matter the circumstance. This belief doesn't rely on external conditions. It's the root of resilience and inner strength. Epictetus said, "No one can take away your freedom of thought unless you give it to them." This means you only truly fail when you stop believing in yourself. Otherwise, every setback is just a temporary challenge on a longer journey. In today's world, it's easy to lose faith in yourself. Endless social media comparisons, others' criticism, shattered expectations, past failures, all can make you doubt your worth. But Stoics didn't seek value in external validation. They measured it by asking, did I act rightly today? Did I uphold my principles? Am I better than yesterday? If the answer is yes, you're on the right path, even if no one notices, praises, or joins you. That's how they sustained unshakable belief, rooted in themselves, not the world's permission. One way to nurture this belief is through deliberate positive visualization. Not fantasizing or pretending, but envisioning yourself living true to your principles, achieving inner growth, or completing a great task. Close your eyes and see yourself having done what you most desire. Not just the outcome, but the process. The obstacles you overcame, the discipline you maintained, the temptations you resisted, the steps you took in solitude. When you see yourself in that refined version, you'll start believing it's not so far off. That belief will drive you to act more aligned with it each day. Stoics also strengthened belief by staying steadfast amid doubt. They didn't need to believe everything would turn out fine to keep acting. They only needed to believe doing the right thing was worth it, regardless of the outcome. When you act rightly, you're already winning, even without recognition. Each time you hold your ground, you reinforce your belief. It's like training a muscle. Every time you reject doubt, it grows stronger. Every time you keep going instead of stopping, you get closer to who you want to be. But belief doesn't survive without action to sustain it. If you claim to believe in yourself but repeatedly break promises to yourself, fail to follow through, or give up halfway, your subconscious stops trusting you. Action and belief go hand in hand. That's why Stoics were ruthlessly consistent. They didn't say one thing and do another. They lived as they thought and wrote. This consistency kept their belief intact over time. To manifest a more successful version of yourself, you don't need perfect conditions. You just need to believe you can change, improve, and become stronger, clearer, and more valuable. Each day, act on that belief with the smallest steps. Waking up on time, focusing on your work, controlling emotional reactions, keeping your commitments. Each action is a brick in the foundation of belief. And that belief will lead you to success in ways you never imagined. If this section sparks something in you, like the video to spread this energy, share it with a friend who's lost direction or doubting themselves. Most importantly, subscribe to continue this journey of building a life with depth, direction, and stoic resilience. Number 8, destroy ego and embrace truth. There's a silent but dangerous enemy, more threatening than any external adversity, lurking within your own mind: the ego. Ego isn't healthy confidence or solid self-respect. It's an illusion of self, a craving to be affirmed, to be right, to outshine others, to be noticed. The ego yearns for control, demands recognition, reacts fiercely to criticism, and fears truths that don't align with its image. The Stoics knew that if you don't destroy your ego, it will destroy you. Not instantly, but by quietly leading you astray, making you lose yourself in applause, false admiration, unreasonable expectations, and fear of facing reality. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Remind yourself often that you are only human, and all praise, acclaim, or achievements today may vanish tomorrow." This isn't pessimism, it's an antidote to ego. When you remember that external things, money, fame, status, are fleeting, you stop letting them control your emotions and decisions. You don't act to impress, prove, or satisfy an ego-craving attention. You act because it's right, true, and necessary for your lasting growth. Stoics didn't deny their worth, but they didn't overvalue themselves either. They were honest about their abilities. They didn't pretend to know what they didn't. They didn't need to seem superior. They had the courage to say, "I was wrong. I don't know, I need to learn more." Humility isn't about lowering your value. It's about understanding yourself accurately within the vastness of the universe. Epictetus said, "You cannot learn if you think you already know everything, nor can you grow if you always assume you're right." The ego fears being wrong, equating it with failure. But the truth is, being wrong is a chance to adjust, change, and improve if you dare face it. In reality, ego manifests in subtler ways than you might think. It's the discomfort when criticized. It's envy when others succeed. It's irritation when your efforts go unnoticed. It's defensiveness when someone touches your weaknesses. It's the tendency to blame circumstances or others instead of owning your role. If you don't recognize it, the ego manipulates you unnoticed. Stoics saw identifying and controlling the ego as vital as managing emotions. An unchecked ego prevents you from living authentically. You'll always be performing, wearing a mask, living to please or outdo others, instead of aligning with what you truly believe. Stoic thinking urges you to face the truth, even if it's ugly, uncomfortable, or bruises your pride. Truth is the foundation of all freedom. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. You can't grow if you cling to an illusion of yourself. Truth may hurt, but that pain is the starting point for growth. That's why Stoics constantly question themselves. Am I deceiving myself? Am I acting for real values or for admiration? Am I learning or just showing off? Each question chips away at the ego's armor, gradually revealing a clearer mind. One effective way to dismantle the ego is to practice silence and observation. When criticized, instead of snapping back, pause and ask, "Is there any truth in this?" When someone succeeds, instead of rationalizing their luck, ask, "What did they do well that I can learn from?" When someone dislikes you, instead of proving yourself or changing to fit in, remind yourself, "Their dislike doesn't change my worth. I only need to be true to myself." Each such response weakens the ego's grip and brings you closer to truth. Stoics knew nothing is more harmful than losing truth to preserve ego. Fame may come and go, status may shift, but truth, if you dare live it, keeps you steady through any storm. That matters more than any outward image. When you live truthfully, you're free from others' gazes. You don't need to prove anything. You're unafraid of judgment or swayed by praise. You act from values, not a need for validation. That's true freedom. That's unshakable strength. If you've been misled by your ego, acted for recognition instead of truth, or avoided reality because it stung, know you're not alone. We've all been there. The question is, are you ready to clear your inner space to live more authentically? If so, comment, "I choose truth over ego." Like the video to affirm your commitment to living awake. Share it with a friend struggling with validation or others' expectations. And subscribe to continue this journey of building an honest, resilient, and profound inner world, like a true Stoic. Number 9, master impulses and act. Now there's a silent but powerful enemy we face daily: impulsiveness. An impulse, the urge to act instantly without reflection, can take many forms. A burst of anger prompting hurtful words, a craving pushing you to buy something unnecessary, a moment of discouragement tempting you to abandon an unfinished project, or a sudden emotion leading to a decision you'll later regret. The Stoics understood that mastering your life begins with mastering these immediate reactions. Whoever can pause before reacting starts to take control of themselves. Epictetus emphasized that the difference between humans and animals lies in self-control. Animals act on instinct, driven by immediate desires. Humans have reason to weigh, analyze, and choose. But without practicing impulse control, humans live like animals, just with better excuses or rationalizations. Stoics believed every action should pass through the filter of reason. Not every emotion needs a response. Not every desire should be indulged. And not every thought deserves to become action. Impulsiveness stems from an undisciplined mind. When you let fleeting emotions lead, you surrender your role as the captain of your life. Every time you speak in anger, you let rage steer you. Every time you procrastinate due to laziness or fatigue, you let weakness rule. Every time you miss an opportunity out of fear, you let a passing emotion dictate your future. Stoics didn't allow this. They trained themselves to pause, even for a few seconds, to observe their emotions, analyze them, and choose rational action. They knew discipline doesn't kill freedom. Discipline is true freedom. One of the Stoics' most powerful tools for controlling impulses is a simple question: is what I'm about to do truly necessary? Marcus Aurelius used this whenever he felt pulled by emotion or habit. Does this action matter? Does it serve my values? Will it help me grow? Or is it just avoiding something hard? Asking this before acting cuts out countless unnecessary reactions. You stop wasting energy on pointless things and start living with purpose. But controlling impulses is only half the equation. The other, equally vital part is acting immediately when you know what's right. Stoics didn't advocate endless thinking without doing. They weren't lost in philosophy at the expense of reality. They acted decisively, swiftly, boldly, not from inspiration, but from principle. Once they identified the right action, they didn't wait for inspiration, the perfect moment, or to feel ready. They knew no one is ever truly ready. Waiting only breeds doubt and delay. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Stop making excuses and act like a great human being." What does this mean? You don't need more advice. You don't need inspiration to start. You just start. If you know exercise will improve your health, get up and do it. Don't wait for Monday or motivation. If you know you should apologize to mend a relationship, do it today. If you know you're wasting time on social media, turn it off and do something meaningful. Action, not excuses, changes your life. Stoic practice is acting with awareness. You're not driven by fleeting emotions, but guided by inner principles. When you act, you do so fully, without distraction or half measures. When you pause, you do so consciously to observe and learn. This harmony of discipline and action creates a truly powerful mind. You can practice this daily by creating circuit breaker moments. Whenever you're about to act on emotion, pause for 5 seconds. Place your hand on your chest, breathe deeply, and ask, does this serve the person I want to become? If yes, act now. If no, let it pass. Each such moment is a training session in self-mastery. With enough repetition, you'll become someone not easily swayed by circumstances or inner turmoil. If you've been swept away by impulses, delayed important tasks, or missed opportunities due to hesitation, you're not alone. But you don't have to stay that way. Start now, this moment, by writing, "I master myself and act today." This is a declaration, a commitment, the first step from reacting to leading your own life. Like the video if you're training your inner strength. Share it with someone stuck in emotions, procrastination, or indecision. And subscribe to continue this Stoic journey, where you don't just grasp theory but turn it into daily action. Number 10. Embrace rationality, detachment, and indifference. Rationality, detachment, and positive indifference. These are the three core elements Stoics viewed as an inner compass, guiding them through life's myriad emotions and upheavals. At first glance, these concepts may seem cold, unfeeling, or distant. But look closer, and you'll see they're not about escaping life, but confronting it with clarity, courage, and resilience against your own mind's turmoil. Stoics didn't reject emotions. They refused to let emotions rule their lives. They weren't indifferent to the world. They simply didn't let the world dictate their reactions. And they didn't use reason to suppress instincts, but to steer themselves toward true values. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, warrior, and philosopher, lived fully by reason amid the chaos of his empire. He didn't act on fleeting emotions, letting neither anger nor fleeting joy sway his moral path. In Meditations, he wrote, "If emotion pushes you to act, let reason hold you back a beat. Everything that happens is neutral. Only your reaction creates suffering." This is a golden Stoic principle. Events don't cause pain. Your thoughts about them do. With a disciplined mind, you can choose your thoughts, emotions, actions, and outcomes. Living rationally doesn't mean becoming an emotionless machine. Stoics felt deeply but didn't cling. They knew everything. Love, success, relationships, fame is temporary, and attachment to anything risks pain when it's gone. So they learned to love without possessing, strive without depending on outcomes, care without controlling. This is inner freedom, living wholeheartedly while maintaining clarity, unswallowed by expectations or fear. Epictetus said, "If you lose something that was never yours forever, don't call it misfortune. Call it inevitable." In today's world where people tie their worth to fleeting things like money, status, or relationships, detachment seems unthinkable, but it's attachment to outcomes that breeds fear, anxiety, envy, and anger. Stoics didn't eliminate emotions, they transformed them. Instead of worrying about loss, they reminded themselves everything is borrowed. I own nothing, not even this body, so I cherish it while it's here. Detachment isn't apathy. It's knowing what's worth your concern and what isn't. When someone insults you, you don't get pulled into their emotional game. When a relationship turns unhealthy, you can walk away without added self-inflicted pain. When an opportunity doesn't come, you don't collapse. You know other paths exist. Stoics practice detachment to avoid depending on anything but inner freedom. That freedom comes when you stop trying to control what's beyond your reach. The indifference Stoics emphasized, apatheia in Greek, isn't careless coldness. It's selective priority. When you know what's in your control, you focus entirely on it. What's beyond your grasp, others' thoughts, ultimate outcomes, the weather, the market, you let go. Not because you don't care, but because clinging drains energy without gain. Stoics chose peace over control, action over reaction, and focus on what they could do best. To practice this, try a simple Stoic exercise. Each evening, write down 3 events that stirred strong emotions. Analyze, was my reaction rational? Did it help me? If I could redo it, how would I act differently? This helps you see how emotions drive you and builds your ability to choose wisely. When you view events objectively and act on principle, you're living like a Stoic. The modern world glorifies emotions, quick reactions, and living in the moment. But without reason as a guide, emotions become an uncontrollable mess. Stoics didn't live in reaction, they lived in choice. They chose how to think, live, invest emotions, and let go of what wasn't worth it. They weren't always right, but they always learned, adjusted, and returned to reason when they strayed. If you feel overwhelmed by emotions, dependent on outcomes, or attached to impermanent things, remember, you can choose again. Choose reason over reaction, detachment over dependence, inner peace over external control. If you're ready to start this journey, comment, "I choose reason and freedom." Like the video if this resonates. Share it with someone swayed by emotions who needs clarity. And subscribe to continue the Stoic journey, where you don't just live better but with resilience, wisdom, and true freedom. You've just completed a journey, not just one of exploring Stoic philosophy, but of looking within yourself. The 10 principles you've heard aren't abstract or outdated theories. They are tools for living. Mental weapons you can wield daily. When facing hardship, when anger threatens to erupt, when emotions surge, when expectations crumble, or when you feel lost in life's noise. But understanding alone isn't enough. Philosophy gains power only through action. Starting today, choose one principle, just one, that resonates most. Maybe it's mastering emotional reactions, building discipline, or detaching from what isn't yours. Begin with the smallest step. Every right action lays a brick in your inner citadel. Every day of consistency tempers your resilience. If you're ready to keep walking this path to live stronger, clearer, and freer from within, comment below. I choose to live like a Stoic. Like the video if it's worth remembering, share it with someone needing mental strength, and subscribe to the channel, because what's coming next won't just inspire, but will walk with you on the road to mastering yourself. This journey isn't easy, but you're not alone.